you see, a little bit this way, it should be more this way. So when you drive it in, you're going to do real damage. You might drop the guy with one punch. But you aim it here and bring the same hand. When he hits here, he's liable to bring it down. If he's liable to bring it down, bang, over here. Bang, with the left hook here or here. See? You got a chance to put in 3 perfect punches.
A fighter that young boxing students will forever look to emulate, and a mythical style that gathers a continually growing cult following. His artist brutality coupled with the evil intentions he brought into the ring, Mike Tyson was able to scale the heights of the boxing world and cross the line that separates the mortal from the immortals. In this video, we'll take an in-depth look at the teachings Cus D'Amato imparted to Tyson and elaborate on the intricacies of the peekaboo style. So join Rainy Day Boxing as together we learn to fight like Mike.
I heard about this heavyweight that they were saying this guy is dangerous. He's from Cus D'Amato's camp. When I finally seen him, I was like, man, he was going through fighters like a hot knife on butter.
The way he moved his head and the way he threw punches, no fighter ever did more technically proficient moves in the history of boxing.
He was knocking guys out. Every time he threw the punch, he threw with bad intentions, and he wasn't getting hit.
It's now a well-known story of the troubled 12-year-old Mike Tyson being taken in by legendary trainer Cus D'Amato and given a second chance at life. After a few minutes watching Mike spar, the boxing sage laid out the blueprint for the rest of Tyson's life. Cus's innovative mind invented a new style of boxing, a combination of aggressive offense and defense. With the fighter's hand held at the side of their face, it was dubbed by D'Amato's critics as the peekaboo style. It was based on his favorite fighter, Maxie Rosenblum's uncanny ability to slip punches. But Rosenblum's overly cautious style didn't please the crowd, so Cus altered the style so his fighters could defensively press forward as aggressive counterpunchers. His students were to follow a simple yet effective formula. Move your head, avoid punches, and then attack. Originally, people laughed at the unusual style, but slowly as he produced champions with the style, his unorthodox methods became more respected. And after Mike Tyson's blazing heavyweight reign while employing D'Amato's techniques, to proclaim the peekaboo as a world-class style is now an indisputable fact. It is no coincidence that Floyd Patterson, Jose Torres, and Mike Tyson all became world champions under the tutelage of Cus D'Amato. The style worked.
The D'Amato style of boxing, hands up, chin down, moving aggressively in an elusive bobbing motion, exploding punches in flurry.
Cus's style is a mixture of aggressiveness and defensiveness, and it's a very hard style to master, but it's the most effective style.
D'Amato and Tyson developed a relationship that was more than teacher and student. They were like father and son as well.
I'm not a creator. What I do is discover and uncover. My job is to take the spark and fan it. When it starts to become a little flame, I feed it. And I feed the fire until it becomes a roaring blaze. And then when it becomes a roaring blaze, I pour huge logs on it. And then you really got a fire going. That's what I do with these boys.
He was an amazing guy with an unprecedented grasp of the mindset required for combat sports.
You know, nothing matters. You're nothing. The only thing that matters is the objective, and accomplishing that objective by going through these methods of boxing.
Tyson was an incredible pupil. So what Cus taught him, which was legitimate, stayed with him.
I tell them that at the beginning when they start, if they will do their job as well as I do mine, the result is a foregone conclusion.
The fear of being hit is felt by every fighter. And to combat that fear, Cus D'Amato taught that a fighter needs to be protected from start to finish. Both hands up in front of your face, almost as if you're a turtle that's constantly in its shell. The hands protect the chin, the right arm constantly protecting the liver, the left, the solar plexus. Hands below the eyes to not inhibit peripheral vision. Your hands and elbows move with you so that when your opponent throws a punch, you block it as you're coming forward, and then you counter. Peekaboo fighters have a squared up stance, with both feet pointing forward. It was designed to better allow for head movement while pressing the action. But with Tyson, although his shoulders were squared up, contrary to what many believe, usually Tyson's feet weren't both pointing forward. He stood with a slightly more traditional stance. A fighter must always be balanced and poised to deliver the knockout punch. The style is normally picked up by fighters who are short for their weight division or around the average height. The idea of turning a height or reach disadvantage into an advantage seems attractive to a lot of shorter fighters. However, with slight changes in tactics to your punch selection and how you avoid punches, the style can work effectively for taller fighters, as seen with Customado's trained fighter Joey Hadley. For shorter fighters, be not discouraged by your height. As long as you have the spiritual warrior within you, size doesn't matter. Early in his career, Tyson was dismissed as too short for the heavyweight division. But as Mike's opponents lay crumpled on the canvas, they didn't think he was too short.
You got a short guy, make him shorter. You got a tall guy, make him taller. That you got those assets to utilize.
Most fighters are used to fighting opponents 6'3", 6'2", the average of heavyweight. And I feel that I use it to my advantage because I move my head, I'm very quick, and I'm low to the ground, and it's very difficult to hit me. I get a lot of leverage from my punches. And it doesn't matter if I punch up or straight or down or around. I have good leverage.
It's not the size of the person in the fight. It's always the size of the fight in the person. What I learned from Customado, he showed me how you take a reach away. And Mike really never had any trouble with tall guys. He used to eat them up. The bigger they are, the harder they fall.
Particularly in a fight perhaps like Reggie Gross fight, where Mike stood directly in front of Reggie Gross. And Reggie opened up with perhaps 10 or 15 punches and could not hit Mike. In the history of boxing, I had never seen a performance like that in 15,000 fight films.
Head movement, the most important aspect of the style. To peekaboo practitioners, it is of paramount importance that they not get hit. Most people don't realize that Tyson was a very smart puncher because he knew how to hit and not get hit. You throw punches with bad intentions and then move your head after every punch, slipping straight punches in a side-to-side motion rather than forward, and bobbing and weaving round punches in a U-shape. Having hands low and being stationary is a recipe for getting hit. A constant variety of head movement is needed to keep the opponent guessing. It does not matter how good your chin is. The best chin is the one that doesn't get hit. When facing a murderous puncher, if he is continuously missing and then is on the receiving end of counterpunches, hesitation and frustration will overcome him, forcing your opponent to either punch in a vulnerable position or run, playing right into the hands of an aggressive counterpuncher. Their greatest asset will become their weakness, and they will fear you. Move your head, move your head. That was Cuss's mantra. Even on his deathbed, D'Amato stressed the importance of head movement to Mike. He repeated his mantra even as he was dying. It's clear to see why the press referred to him as Cautious Cuss. Defense was always on his mind, and he felt it should be always on the mind of his disciples.
Professional fighter has got to learn how to hit and not get hit, at the same time be exciting. That's what professional boxing is about. You got to be clever, you got to be smart, and not get hit. And when you're able to do this, you're a fighter.
For all his brute force, Tyson is a student of his sport. He works hard on techniques to improve himself.
Well, the purpose of the slip bag is to get the fighter moving his head, to get him in the habit of moving his head correctly. You have to try to be elusive. See, as long as the fighter's trying to be elusive, you're going to be all right.
Tyson was very good at slipping jabs. And that was one of his greatest strengths, is when you thought that you had to just jab. But then when they jabbed, he slipped a punch, and that created an opening, and he would knock you out.
You have the guy throw punches. They have my hands. I'm having to throw punches if I can counter. Like when you move, I can move. Uppercut with him, I'll throw right hand. That's the whole thing. You can't do that if the guy's both standing. You have to wait for him to do something so you can counter the punch.
When I'm on the heavy bag with Michael, I'm working on his form. I tell him you're not moving enough, because you got to move at least 3 times. Certain punches. You throw a straight punch, you move 3 times. You throw a hook, you move twice.
Mike was at his best when he was defensive, because in being defensive, it always gave him the opportunity to land a big punch.
He lunges in with the left hook. Tyson very cleverly slips it, comes back in a punching position, and lands a left hook.
Outside of my right hand. We trained him steadily. When he got to the point with slipping punches, we had a difficult time getting people to box with him, because he proved to be a very hard puncher with both hands. Tyson not only has a very hard, terrific punch in either hand, but he has developed elusive qualities and has the most important quality, the will to win. He has the desire to win. He wants to be the best. When you make him miss a counter,
That's it. Walk around. Pop him. Come on, punch him. That's it. Oh, there you go. That's it. He said nothing. That's it.
and close like this. So you see, we had to like this. What's supposed to do with the right hand, bring it underneath. Bring it like this. That's right. Want to say this or what?
D'Amato always referred to boxing as the hurt business. Hearing the lectures he gave Mike, instructing him to break his opponent's ribs and explode his eardrums, it's little wonder why Tyson fought so viciously in the ring. Cus believed boxing was all about entertainment. He desired his fighter to always press forward, showing aggression. Backing up meant you were retreating. It was all about action and giving the crowd their money's worth. In Cus's words, the peekaboo style wasn't designed to make any guy miss. You make them miss once and twice, and then you get in.
And he put it all there.
It was the purpose of D'Amato's trained fighters to be the meanest, most vicious fighter ever to step in the ring. You were to disable and dismantle your opponent in an exciting manner, not to lay back and outpoint your way to victory, a Spartan approach that Iron Mike wholeheartedly adopted. While remaining defensively responsible, Tyson would devastate his opponents with short punches. His short shots had little distance to travel and a greater impact when they connected. In an attempt to achieve the maximum devastation level in all his attacks, he would try to make two punches sound like one. He also felt throwing punches in bunches had a higher percentage in resulting in a knockout. Wear your opponent out with continual attacks and not let up. Break their will, break their spirit, and then their body will fold.
I wanted to hit him in the nose one more time for that bone could went up in his brain. I wanted to go up in his brain.
Mike Tyson's actually just a cold, business-like killer.
That's it. There you go. Now you got again. Who's the last guy to stop?
If I'm right in the center and I try, I can count it. You count this with this hand. Right. If I'm doing like this, I'm whipping like this. I try to be this way, like put it here and bring it up, boom. Boom.
Mike normally catches a guy with that uppercut after he's delivered a body shot.
He'd always get them to reach down into his territory and tag them quick. He's got this good speed that if he catch you leaning down a little bit, you won't have two times to do it. Mike throws punches to kill you. He has bad intentions, as he was taught.
Move your head, Mike. Move your head, jab and flip and jab.
The jab, a crucial punch that many do not associate with peekaboo fighters, but a punch that Cus D'Amato stressed that his pupils should learn. Despite what many people think, in his early years, the jab was a tool Mike often included in his offensive arsenal. Always urging his fighters to jab often, Cus felt it should be just as damaging as every other punch. It should be as a battering ram that breaks through your opponent's defense. The arm, working like a piston to snap your opponent's head back, leaving them defenseless to your following attack. Tyson referred to the jab as a blinder that would blind his opponents for a split second as he would either spring to the side or follow up with a furious combination.
Normally I'm jabbing. Right. I'm jabbing. When you're jabbing, the guy goes boom, boom, and runs into the punch.
Take it right to him. With a strong, hard jab and just work him over.
Jabbing is all to do with timing. If you throw your jab at the right time, you could be 5'6", and I'll jab a guy 6'4".
All right, make a little good move today. Move down to the wall. That's it.
Hands up, move your head.
Keep it up. That's it. Little moves, little twist.
Boom, boom, and then I twist it. boom, and I'm at the side where you can't hit me. Like if you expect me to be here and you're throwing punches here, you're throwing punches here, but I'm here already, and I'm perhaps gonna hit you already a couple of times. And you're touching me, it's poof, and bing, bing. Yeah.
While a fighter focuses on being defensively sound, the anticipation of their opponent throwing punches may inhibit them from throwing a punch with the full power they possess. The D'Amato shift, a sidestepping move where you jump and twist your opponent's side, would allow you to get to a position where you could unleash a punch with as much force as you are capable of delivering, all the while being completely free from the fear of being countered. A twisting pivot move that's becoming more and more prevalent in boxing today.
He does it with lightning speed. He can strike a blow. In that split second, it takes away to be at your side. And almost to complete surprise of his opponent. And in that position, he can let a bomb go.
Mike will be moving his head the right way, side to side, following, stepping to the side, aiming for the liver, aiming for the solar plex.
Remember, from the side, you can let that punch go with the worst kind of intention because you know he can't hit you back, so you can throw the bomb with all the power you can generate.
Let's record numbers in rapid succession and we'll go something like this. 1 left hook to the jaw, boom. 2 right hook to the jaw, boom. 3 left uppercut. 4 right uppercut. 5 left hook to the liver. 6 right hand to the spleen. 7 jab to the head. 8 jab to the body.
The number system, a method of coding specific punches with numbers that were not commonly associated with. Customato's purpose for using this system was to allow the boxer's corner to be able to yell out random numbers, and the other fighter and trainer would be clueless as to what the instructions meant. Although the numbering system is not absolutely necessary to learning the style, Jose Torres, world champion and practitioner of the style, felt it was so effective, he'd refuse to fight if Cuss wasn't sitting ringside to call out the numbers.
1, 2, 5, 6, 1. 6, 5, 2, 1, 2.
We use a number system where I call out the different numbers for the different punches. I give you 1, 5, 1.
When Kevin tells me the numbers of 4, 5, 6, I know exactly what they are. I don't even have to think.
5, 1 now. 7, 7 coming in. 1, 10, 4, 5, 1. 5, 5, 1.
To the young peekaboo fanatics who dream of being a fighter to successfully bring the style back to the main stage, regardless of how well the style was designed, an unquenchable desire and an unrelenting will is needed to reach the pinnacle of the sport. And although Mike Tyson was a legend, all those who attempt to follow his movements, style, and aspire to emulate him should always look to surpass their idol and more efficiently execute the style. Learn your craft, and perhaps someday, videos will be made about you.
For 12-year-old Mike Tyson, perfecting the moves he learned became an obsession. Long after lights out in the reform school, guards would hear Tyson grunting as he practiced into the night in the dark in his room. Perfecting technique became Tyson's obsession.
Tyson was like a sponge, and he just absorbed everything that Cuss had to teach him. The head movement, throwing the punches with bad intentions. I remember Cuss showing him how to throw the uppercut with the proper snap. And Mike would come right over here in the mirror and just practice it for long, sustained periods of time, 10, 15 minutes, just over and over and over.
I want to have a perfect fight. I want to be the best fighter.
And all my life, I've been thinking in terms of developing a fighter who is perfect. That's possible, you know, as perfection as we know it.
What would you want to say to a youngster, to a kid that maybe wants to get into the boxing profession?
Always keep the faith. Never lose faith. The idea is to keep going and never give up. Even when times are hard, that's when it's easy to give up.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe.